Hello, everyone. This is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. And today I have a special guest who is in the United States and is a bi-coastal mediator between Southern California and New York City. Everyone, this is my colleague, Richard. Hello, Richard. How are you?
Hi, Natalie. Good to talk to you today.
Richard, I know that you come to France a lot, and I'm sorry that we're not able to do this face-to-face, but because of technology, you are in Palm Desert, and I'm in Normandy, France, and we still get to talk about you and your practice today.
It's wonderful.
It is, absolutely is.
Thank you for technology. It's great.
It really, really is. And I'm sure that for someone like you who mediates on both American coasts, you get to use technology all the time for exchanging documents, for having these kinds of video conferences with your clients in pre-mediation or actual mediation. You use technology in your practice too.
I use technology all the time. Generally, I have not used it for mediations, although I have done a project where I did 30 separate online mediations, and it was very successful. But in general, for most mediations, I like to be in the room with the people. I like to feel their emotions, which is often easier when you're with them. But because of distance and just the ability of people to travel, this is the next best thing.
Absolutely is. So Richard, tell me a little bit about your practice. What kinds of cases do you hear?
Well, I have a vast array of different kinds of cases. One kind of case I have is the general, what you would call commercial civil mediation case, which would be to a buyer and a seller of a commercial product or a service who are fighting over the terms of a contract. And that is a traditional commercial mediation type of dispute. But I also do family disputes, and those families are normally with a business. And I have a certification from the Family Business, the Family Firm Institute as a family business advisor. And I use that when I meet with families who are generally, in my case, second generation, who have inherited a business that their father may have built up, and now they are co-equal shareholders, one of which is running the business. Three are just looking over their shoulder, trying to tell him how to run the business, and they're running into problems. And so I would come into a situation like that and try to make them understand each other and hopefully reach an agreement. Sometimes one might leave, sometimes they'll find a new way of working together, but that's up to them. All I do is provide the platform through mediation and through my family firm background to get them to a place where they're not just pointing the fingers at each other.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's important. And it's important to understand the history, the dynamics of the family, and what leads up to a dispute 25, 30, 40 years later. So it could be that, I've just never forgiven my sister because she borrowed my sweater without asking 30 years ago. And now we're not getting along in inheriting our father's business. It could be all different kinds of things, but understanding the underlying causes, I can see that's really important.
It is, and often they don't even realize it until we start talking about it because they haven't allowed themselves to talk about the past. They've been too hurt and too defensive, and we call it sometimes amygdala hijack, when they really just respond to their sister in a very defensive way, and no one gets any further in a discussion. So I try to calm that. I try to get them into their rational minds and talk to each other.
I like that. Now, Richard, how did you move from being a partner and a sort of heavy hitter litigator into mediating? Is it hard to make that transition from gladiator to mediator?
Well, interestingly, I was not a litigator. I was what you'd call a corporate lawyer. And my job was to negotiate agreements our clients wanted to make with other parties, often commercial parties, or sometimes settle a lawsuit. But generally, my job was to get people together and find interests and make the deal work, which is not that different from what a mediator does. So in a way, my background fits extremely well with mediation. A litigator's background is such that he's trying to often make points, find the weakness in the other side's case and hammer it. And it never helped me to go into a negotiation to be anything but kind and open and inquisitive about the other side. Whereas a litigator might enter a meeting and start picking at the other side in a way which is, for me, not productive. For them, it might be productive in a lawsuit, but certainly not productive to settle a lawsuit. So my background, I saw it with clients, and particularly German clients. I represented a lot of German clients in their corporation matters. And they would be involved in a lawsuit in the States. And of course, they had all heard the famous McDonald's hot coffee case. I mean, it had nothing to do with their case, but they knew the extremes of American litigation. And I talked them down off the ledge and said, this is a process, let's work it through. And I saw, at that time, I had litigators working with me, and there would be a mediator sometimes brought into a lawsuit, and I would see this magic happen, where they had a major client they were fighting with, and after it was fully mediated, they were still doing business with that client. The litigation would have killed everything. And so in a way, it was to me magic. It was magic to the clients, magic to me. And I then got trained as a mediator and began mediating my own cases as a mediator. The economics of mediation are such that rarely does a law firm want to have a mediator in the law firm. I mean, they may want it for the standpoint of saying they have it, but it's not really an economic moneymaker for a law firm, because you deal with one case and then it's over, and there's no technically rarely repeat business because you go on to another case. And also I try to settle them in a week, whereas as a litigator, their job is to extend it for 6 months. I mean, not consciously, but they have all these things to do. And so the way we look at cases is quite different. So my background really fits very, very well with the mediation approach. And you mentioned...
No, I would say it's better than fits really well. I would say you were perfectly designed to do this.
I couldn't have said that better, but thank you very much. I wouldn't have said that better myself. You and I talked earlier about Paris, and I do go to Paris in February of each year as a mediator and a judge and a drafter of problems for the International ICC mediation competition held in early February each year. And mediators from all over the world who are in training come from China, from India, from Russia, from Israel, from Lebanon, from everywhere. And they have a set of scenarios that they work through. And I'm one of the mediators to see how well they do. And from that, after 4 days, one team becomes the winner of that competition. But through it all, there's a tremendous camaraderie among the mediators around the world. We have a very solitary profession. And we don't work with another mediator. Once in a while, co-mediation, but that's rare. So to have this opportunity to talk to other mediators, to work with them, to watch them work is really exciting for me. So that's one of the highlights of my year, to be in Paris. Not just for the food, but also for the mediation.
And living in France, you know, we love when people come in and visit this beautiful country. So, but I see that the point that you're making, because mediation is the science of the process that helps our clients develop affordable, effective, durable solutions for themselves. But there is an art form involved in helping them take best advantage of this process. And so when you have an opportunity to work with other mediators or arbitrators or neutrals, we can refine and really, you know, heighten our artistic and scientific skills so that we best serve our clients.
I really like that. analysis, and artistic as well as scientific, because much of what we do as mediators is go outside the box and look at what we read the room, how emotionally tied into this dispute is a certain person. And if I see that they're holding their hands tight, I can see white knuckles, and I see they're not happy, I know I have to address that, because my job is to remove the barriers to a resolution. They know the resolution, or they will know, but if there's so much anxiety involved, then they don't get there. And that's more of an art form. It's more of, I couldn't tell you how it's done other than just giving them attention and letting them feel comfortable. And that's a little bit of science, but a lot of art.
And from time to time, a little fairy dust.
Fairy dust never hurts.
Never hurts. Richard, I really appreciate you spending a few minutes out of your busy day and busy practice to talk to me a little bit about your practice and how you're able to help so many people on both coasts in the United States. It's really impressive, the work you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, everyone, if you want to know more about Richard and the processes that he uses and the services that he offers, Richard, what's your website address?
Well, I actually have two, but I think the best one is Lutringer, adrconsulting.com.
Excellent. And of course, I will put that web link in the description bar down below. So if you are watching this video either on the West Coast or the East Coast, and you or someone you know and love or someone that you work with could take advantage of Richard's services, please click the link below, reach out to him, and let him help you. And as always, thanks for watching. Be good humans.